want the truth, JP, and you can't give it out. You can't release this kind of info. There are some tight lips up on the Hill, but there are some people who have eyes. There's weird stuff going on.
Zack Moss got hurt.
Well, no, you can't report on injuries. That's a HIPAA violation.
You can't release medical information.
Yeah,
you can't handle the truth.
You can't handle the truth. You can't talk about a person's medical history. That's a HIPAA violation.
No.
Do not do that.
Both of those things you're saying are wrong, which makes a right. It sounds like Zack Moss got hurt, but he was at practice today. So how seriously could he be hurt if he was out there running around with the guys? But he does have his hand in a cast, it appears.
Whoa, no. I didn't say that.
They made him available to – if you make somebody available to the media –
well, he did talk to the media.
And you can comment on what they're wearing.
He did have –
he had his hand in a cast.
I didn't think it was a cast. I thought it was a big-ass wristband.
Okay.
I thought it was a very large glove.
But it sounds like
JP, what did you see? Because I thought it was a glove.
Was it a cast?
I didn't see nothing.
Oh, good. He's smart.
You're making me
I didn't
sound
see anything.
bad.
Nope, I didn't see anything.
What are you talking about?
I thought it was a glove. I mean, what did Kyle Whittingham say? It's a HIPAA violation. He won't talk about injuries until the NC2A mandates an injury report. He will not give it out. Dirk Facer tried, and he was like a bird running into the side of a high-rise building. Just splat. He gets stopped in his tracks. Kyle Whittingham shut that stuff down. He said, you can ask all you want, but we ain't giving anybody's medical history. But, yeah, Zack Moss had something kind of weird on his hand, but he said he's good.
After reports that he hurt his hand yesterday, and then he has something weird on his hand. We're going to talk to Rob Stone coming up at 3 o'clock from Fox, get a breakdown on some college football. We'll also ask a little MLS with him. Rob Stone at 3. We're going to let you hear from your interview. You were up on the Hill today with Andy Ludwig, the offensive coordinator at the University of Utah.
Got to sit down for a few minutes with Coach Ludd. He was very kind to us, and he went as far as to even solve the age-old argument that we've had here, Ben. We disagree on very few things. You and I are kind of like peanut butter and jelly. We get along on most subjects. We don't vote the same way, and that's cool. But you don't agree with the E4 policy from Andy Ludwig. That's E to the fourth power. And that's energy, energize, edge, and execution. The energy that you bring each and every day will energize your teammates, and then you guys collectively will know that that is your edge to go out there and execute against your opponent. You've always said the first two E's are the same.
In fact, you just had a good way to replace the second repetitive E, which is energy every day gives you the edge to execute.
No, but that's not what it is.
But it is about showing up every day. You
Correct.
don't need energy and energize.
Another great saying that I use to this day, I think about what Coach Ludd used to say to us. He'd say, be the same guy every day.
Yep.
Be the same guy. And it's not the old cliche, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. Got to get better every day. Sure, every day you're alive and playing football, you're better because you're playing it one more day. It's a beautiful game. It's a violent game. It leaves all of us. What that means, though, and Ludwig is the perfect embodiment of that, doesn't matter if your dog died, if it's raining, your wife's mad at you, your kids just got in trouble at school. You got to be that coach every day. And as a player, the coaches don't care. You broke up with your girlfriend. What happened? You flunked a class. This and that. You're not feeling good. You're tired. We don't care. The football team, we just need you for the hours that you've dedicated. And so that means be the same guy every day. And you do a great job of that, Ben.
Thank you.
Some days I struggle with it. I have no idea what to expect from JP, our producer, on a daily basis.
Correct.
We're talking about wild swings of emotion. Today he was downright pleasant, I would say, whereas yesterday he was violent. He was verbally and physically abusive and violent. Today, it's like a whole new JP. He said hello to me in public at Utah practice. I did not expect that.
We'll let you hear all of Kyle Whittingham in his press conference today. We're on his press conference.
I'm good.
But his media scrub.
Yeah. No problems.
That's Zack Moss.
No problems, man.
Zack Moss was asked about the cast on his hand.
Well, again, it's not like we're spying on people. He did interviews, and he
if
had...
they make you public, I can talk about what you're wearing.
Okay, and I'm just saying, to me, that might have been a glove or a backpack. Maybe he had a backpack on his hand. But, okay,
But the good news is for Utah is I don't think he's lying. He said he's good. He said he's going to be out there. He's excited to play against BYU.
Oh, of course.
I'm good.
And
I'm good, yeah.
He's good
no
to go.
Problems.
The question is, how do you hurt your hand without pads on? And they've had pads on recently, but, I mean, how hard is Zack Moss getting hit? If a helmet hits you in the wrist and breaks your wrist, that's a pretty daggum hard hit. Who's doing that? Are there young linebackers that are out there doing that? You watched Hard Knocks last night. John Gruden lit into a young guy, Abraham, the safety, the rookie safety.
JJ from Mississippi State.
Correct, because he's flying around like a blind dog in a meat house, thumping guys. And the cameras are on, and John Gruden's pretty vocal, and I was wondering if the two sides were holding back smiles, but they were getting a little confrontational because Jonathan Abraham just said,
and it's Jonathan Abram.
Jonathan Abram.
And just J.J. Abrams, he's the director. He did like Star Trek.
Star Wars.
I think he did both.
Now, it comes down to you have to be on the same page of physicality. If it's a full pad practice, thump it up. If there's no shoulder pads on, nobody likes defensive tough guy. Now, something tells me if you play like that all the time, then just sort of fly that flag if you want. And some guys are like that, if they can back it up groovy. Most players are not, though. And so when you've got a guy like Zack Moss, who's out there, and he's all Pac-12, he's going to be Utah's career rushing leader, I don't think anybody's lowering their helmet and cracking him on the wrist. So, whatever happened, he's going to play. He's going to play through it. I'm sure he's battled through much worse than that. I believe a year ago he tweaked his knee, and the timing of it was weird because he obviously heard it prior to when it was announced. Zack Moss, I almost guarantee he played a game or two injured a year ago with that knee. So football players can fight through it. It's an absolute non-issue, but Kyle Whittingham made it very clear. He's not acknowledging anything. Nobody's done for the season, so he's not talking about injuries. There's no HIPAA violations. You can't ask questions. You can't even open your eyes. And that's why the Utes have promoted Kurt Cragthorpe, our friend from the Salt Lake Tribune, because Kurt's vision is so bad, he physically cannot see. His vision is 40-40. You can't walk up to Kurt and get an inch away from his face and say hi to him, and he'll have to, reach out. And that's how Kurt recognizes you. He touches you, on the upper body. And that's how he knows who you are. And he always knows that my upper body is very defined and chiseled. And so Kurt recognizes me.
If Utah was worried about Zack Moss, they wouldn't have run him out there today. They simply would have made him unavailable to the media. They're aware of the rumors that were out last night. They were getting texts about it, I'm sure, because the rumors were circulating all over Twitter. People were reporting on things that obviously we didn't know exactly what the extent is and still don't know the extent is, but we know something happened because he's got his hand wrapped up. Kyle Whittingham said he's not going to talk about an injury. If you were to go and ask Tyler Huntley about, or ask Whit about Tyler Huntley's injury, what would he say? What injury? He's not hurt. So he wouldn't talk. He would say, yeah, what injury? I don't know what you're talking about. He's not going to talk about whatever happened to Zack Moss because something happened to him. But again, if it was serious, they wouldn't have put him out there. He wouldn't still be out there running around, and they wouldn't let him even ask questions about it.
And that's the thing is that Zack Moss is not afraid to answer questions directly. Yet again, Zack Moss referenced what a unique experience it was 2 years ago learning the previous offense. He doesn't name anyone by name, but let's let you hear what Zack Moss had to say about the new offense now in the install under Andy Ludwig.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, yeah.
How are the young guys looking behind you?
They're doing good. They're making strides, just a few freshman mistakes, but they're doing very, very good.
What kind of role as a mentor are you playing for these guys?
Just trying to answer questions, give them some experience and things like that that I've learned through the years as well.
How do you think the whole offense is picking up Coach Ludd's offense?
I think he's doing pretty good. Compared to the first 2 years ago when we had to learn a new offense, I think this offense has been a little bit more simpler for our guys, and they're running through things at full speed. So it's very good so far.
What is it about Jordan Wilmore that you're seeing in camp so far that makes you think maybe he'll be special?
He's been relentless so far, coming in, just going hard, working hard, and he's kind of twitchy. So that's a good attribute to have.
It's better it's your hand in a cast than like a knee or something, right? What's the deal with the hand there?
I'm good, yeah. No problems.
Did you practice today, and do you plan on missing any action?
I was out here with the guys, doing everything with the guys, so yeah, I practiced today, yeah.
Be on the field at the end of the month in Provo? You plan on that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Speaking of that, Zach, in your previous years in the program, it's always been an FCS opponent, not to downplay them, but just having this opponent at the end of the camp, does that make it feel any different for you guys as you go through this?
Yeah. I mean, you definitely, no matter who it is, never want to get off on the wrong foot, being the first game, and then it being those guys down south. Definitely don't want to lose to those guys, and want to keep this thing rolling for years. So we know at the back of my minds that what we're going for.
So there he is, Zack Moss earlier today talking. Now, he kind of dances around the question. He doesn't address directly what happened to his hand, obviously. He is asked if it's in a cast. He said he's good. They asked if he practiced today. It kind of sounds like he must have done some things and maybe not other things. He said, I was out here with the guys.
Yeah, and Zack Moss has learned from Kyle Whittingham the ultimate way to win a one-on-one duo with the media, and that's just tell the truth. Tell the truth, and that, did you practice? Yes, I practiced. Yeah, what's wrong with your cast? Well,
you can't handle the truth.
You don't have to talk about the injury specifically, but there's a way to answer it and not lie. There's a way to, Kyle Whittingham will not discuss things that, he's not asked directly. If you don't ask him directly, he's not going to provide you with any more information.
Yeah.
And Kyle Whittingham doesn't have to go on. Mike Leach is extemporaneous. You might find out the answer to 8 other questions on accident talking to Mike Leach. Now, if you don't ask specifically about a subject, Kyle Whittingham will not elaborate.
But again, he doesn't have to.
For the Utes to put Zack Moss out there, he knew he was going to get asked about the arm. He said, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then, he said he was going to play in game 1, even if he doesn't play in game 1. The Utes are such a good team at this point. They're so well-rounded. They're going to start 3-0 regardless of whether Zack Moss plays or not.